Hey, why are you looking guilty, man? Huh? Why are you looking guilty? Look at all these treats. What are we gonna give you today? Let's give you a doggy probiotic, eh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's back. What's going on, boys? Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's good to see you guys. So, if you're new to the channel, last time I saw you guys, I believe this was getting on a flatbed going to Boost Logic because it had a pretty gnarly fuel leak and also had a fuel issue. You guys are all caught up on the oil pan gasket and the transmission. Those things are both good to go. The last time I saw you guys, again, it was just a fuel sender on the driver's side was leaking through the top, and I was, for some reason, was getting weird fuel mileage. Both of those issues have been figured out, and an additional issue that I created, they actually fixed for me. So let me explain to you guys what happened and how we got this thing back, and then we're gonna go for a drive. There's a fuel sender issue, and the fuel sender on the driver's side was cracked. So that was what was causing the leak on the driver's side fuel area. The top of the unit just had a little crack. I had a full tank of gas, and the tank is pressurized, so it was leaking out of the top. The reason we were having the weird fueling issues, I would start off on a full tank of gas, drive it all the way down to empty within about 50-60 miles. And when I'd go to fill it up, all I'd be able to put in there would be like 4 to 5 gallons. So it wasn't truly empty. According to Boost Logic and Roman over there, it ended up being a siphon tube, either degraded due to the high flow fuel pump that we have in this car now, or the E85 that we were initially running in this car. I'm not running the E85 now, just because I don't think the injectors can really handle it. I have stock S54 injectors. They fixed the sender unit on the driver's side. I opted to get a new housing or a new sending unit on the passenger side, basically what the fuel pump seats into. So that is all new as well. And then actually when I was replacing the starter in the last video, you know, I'm all about full transparency, and I was replacing the starter in the last video, and the throttle position sensor is really close to the starter. And when I pulled the starter out, I must have nicked the TPS sensor because that was cracked and giving them, well, the throttle was giving them some issues when they were trying to diagnose whether or not they had fixed the fuel issue. So Roman called me and said, dude, did you knock the throttle position sensor? I can't get full throttle, I don't know what's going on. I said, I don't think so, but they had to take off the intake. Roman happened to have another TPS sensor, so he threw that in there. That fixed that, so good on them. I appreciate them fixing that. So just full transparency. Like I said in one of my last videos, things happen when you do your own work on your car. Things happen when anyone works on your car, but especially a motor with 100,000 miles and a car with 235,000 miles. Things are a little bit more brittle. It's just, things happen easier on an old car. It is what it is. Now that we have the oil issues fixed, the fuel issues fixed, I think that's it. I think we're good to go. And I haven't given you guys a proper let's beat on this E36 with an S54 swap video yet. So that's what I want to do today, because I'm tired of all of the wrenching on the car. I'm tired of all of the here it is at the shop videos. I just want to drive this thing. That's why I built it. I don't know if you guys are tired of this yet, but let's get a little cold start on you, eh? Should we do a little exhaust? Let's see what let me show you what this exhaust sounds like. Alright, driving the S54 E36. And, you know, I didn't really mention this in the walk around, but I did do new bushings basically all the way around. So the bushings I did in the rear end were all AKG but not their race. They were all their street version. So, and I did new motor engine mounts as well. So I mean, really guys, most of this stuff has been touched and replaced. So if you're new to the channel, or maybe you haven't caught it, my goal for this build was never to build a horsepower monster. If I wanted that, I would have put an LS motor in here. My inspiration has been a Singer Porsche. If you guys know what Singer Porsche is, they build a 911 that is just perfect. It's not burnout at 70 miles an hour, but it just is the perfect car for, whoa, where are you going, bro? That's not right. I almost saw a head-on collision. It's the perfect car, perfect motor, well balanced, and that's what I was going for with this. I didn't want anything that was gonna get 1,000 horsepower. I just wanted a perfect balanced car, because this is going to be going on the track a lot too. Make sure no one's coming here. All right, let's see what this S54 is all about. Oh man, that S54 is perfect in this car. I had multiple people tell me the S54 is like it should be born in this car, and man, they were not lying. It is so perfect in this car. So I'm running 245s all the way around, Michelin PS4s. So I hook really good. This is all new paved. This has all been freshly paved too. They just redid all this, so it's literally like the perfect condition for hooking. I don't think I would be blowing the tires off of this car anyway, but this thing just grips and goes, and that 8,000 red line, well, I think the S54, I believe, is 8,200. And it is just absolutely perfect. This is a new 6-speed transmission that I picked up. Not new as in it has 0 miles, but it was just pulled off of a donor car. I just bought it because my last transmission lost 5th and 6th randomly. So I don't really have many miles on this trans to learn the ins and outs. And if you guys are familiar with used car parts or buying anything like that, you know, you don't really know what you're gonna get until you get it. Oh God, this thing just sings. It sounds so good. Oh, it's perfect. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. No, the trans. So I'm still kind of learning my way around this trans. I don't know if it has any grinds, and so far it feels great. But when you go from 6th to 5th, it feels like there's a little bit of a grind there. And that's just things you learn. The transmission, I think it came off of a car that had around 100,000 on it. And it was a manual transmission. You can also get an SMG trans, and you can do a conversion to make the SMG trans manual. And that's what, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. The SMG trans is what a lot of guys prefer, because SMG trans, you know, it hasn't really missed a shift, right? It may have gotten beaten on, but it's been perfectly shifted every time. So a lot of guys prefer the SMG trans over the traditional manual trans, and they just do that conversion. This one happened to come up at the right time for the right price, so I picked it up. All right, we're gonna open it up here. Hopefully these won't go flying. That thing feels so perfect in this car. It sounds like a proper race car. It sounds oh man, this is exactly what I was looking for. I didn't want something that had 1,000 horsepower. I cannot wait to get this on the track. This thing is going to be an absolute monster on the track. You know, it's a higher revving motor, so I'm going to need to keep it way up in the RPMs anyway. But I don't care about it. That's perfect. That's what I want. I mean, just shift. Oh my God, this thing is awesome. I'll tell you what, if you're debating on whether or not, if you're looking for just a horsepower swap into the E36 and you want to hit 1,000 horsepower, there are much better ways to spend your money. We're going to do another pull here. There are much better ways to spend your money. You will get a lot more horsepower per dollar going with an LS swap than you will with this S54. You just will. But I'll tell you what, this S54, it absolutely sings in this car. It sounds so good. This motor is just, it's got to be one of the best motors. It just is. God, it's just such a pure engine. And the thing, I have an E85 kit for this car, but I'm not running the 85. It's kind of like a flex fuel style kit. But right now we're not able to extract any horsepower. I'll get into that in a different video. But once I do, I should be able to get an extra 15 to 20 horsepower from just adding, we'll call it 10 to 20 horsepower from just switching to E85. Oh gosh, this thing is so sick. And I got to do a proper exhaust video for you guys, because it sounds, I didn't want anything blow your ears out, and I didn't want to piss off my neighbors when I get up early and drive this thing. It definitely, this is the right call for this. Stromong isn't a crazy loud exhaust. There's a lot louder options out there, and I'm probably losing a few horsepower by having that exhaust. But I mean, it sounds so perfect. If you missed my dyno vid, this thing dynoed at 310 wheel horsepower and 260 wheel torque. 255, 260 wheel torque, somewhere right around there. And that's basically just an all-stock S54 with exhaust and that carbon intake that you saw. And I mean, could it do with a little more power? Of course, you know, who doesn't want a little more power? Does it need it though? No, this is the perfect little proper go-kart. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh man, there you have it, boys. I mean, I could not be happier with my decision to swap the S54, or to have the S54 swapped in there over something like, you know, the big burly V8 option. Again, that's a great option if you're going for horsepower. I was going for, or still am, going for the OEM plus type of build. So that's been my goal, and I'm not done yet. I have a lot more to do. So if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. We're only getting started with this car. I just got it back and I cannot wait to beat on it more. Smash that subscribe button, boys, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.